Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SL and Shiro Podcast. Or if you're a returning visitor, welcome back. I'm Shiro, and I'm with my friend SL to talk about Persona for this week's episode.
Hi everyone. You know me by now. Okay, so my stream went overtime, so I was gonna be prepared and have a list of stuff to go through, but that didn't happen, so we have to go off the top of our heads.
Right. Luckily for you, I do have a small list of things to go through.
Oh, thank you. Shiro, you are the best person ever.
I know. I totally did not make the list last minute because I kept forgetting to do it, but hey, at least I've got it pulled up and ready to go.
Alright.
So, for the people watching at home, don't worry, for the first half of the episode, this video will be spoiler-free, and hopefully, by us talking about the non-spoiler stuff, you'll get into the series. But we'll tell you near the second half that we're going into like spoiler details.
Yeah.
I feel like we should go a bit more into detail. We went into it in our first episode. But I figured, like, as a recap, we should go over how we got introduced into this series.
Yeah, so, how
I'll let
did...
you go first.
Okay, so I was getting a PlayStation 4 for Christmas one year to play both Kingdom Hearts and to actually get to experience Danganronpa V3 because my laptop I had back then wasn't powerful enough to run the game. It was powerful enough for 1, 2, and Ultra Despair Girls, but it wasn't enough for V3. So I had to actually get an actual console to actually run it properly. But I also wanted to get into other games like Kingdom Hearts, so that's why I settled on a PS4 in the end. And
I got V3 on the Vita.
So then I got it. So then I got a PS4 in the end, and I was deciding more games because I figured just the whole Kingdom Hearts games and Danganronpa V3 wouldn't be enough to justify getting a console. And then I heard this was around the time everyone was talking about Persona and how good the game was. So I'm like, okay, well, I only heard good things about Persona 5, so I'll give it a chance. And I instantly fell in love with it. And then I went backwards from there, watched a Let's Play of 4, emulated Persona 3 Portable on my phone. There's a really old Let's Play on my channel if you want to go back that far. Not recommended, but you can do it. But yeah. And then 4 came out on Steam and I tried it there. And yeah, that's really it for me. I haven't gone back and played 1 and 2 yet because I've heard those don't age too well, but maybe someday I will.
So as for me, my first ever game in the Persona series was Persona Q, of all things, because I was a Nintendo boy, and the PS4 was the first, well no, I had the Vita. That was the first like PlayStation thing I owned, anything outside of Nintendo. But then I got the PS4. So after getting into Persona Q, I got Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, and got introduced into all the spin-offs there. And I got the PS4 and then played Persona 5 Royal. I also played Persona 3 Portable on the Vita through like the PlayStation Store.
Cool, so I guess we go through your list then?
Yes, I've had it set up to where we talk a little bit about each of the mainline games, and if you want to bring up the spin-offs later on when we get to 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, we'll do that then.
I want to describe to you, because I've watched Let's Plays of 1 and 2.
Okay.
I wanted to describe to you, basically, the non-spoiler stuff, obviously. Of course.
Because I might go back someday.
With Persona 1, I will say, out of all the games in this series, Persona 1 is the most like a typical dungeon crawling RPG. I mean, there are still ideas from the story of Persona 1 that are recognizable with Persona's identity now. You know, the whole mind, subconscious thing. The first game was definitely what the series started off as, a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei where you just play, but you play as teenagers. Because the whole thing with Persona was that it was based on the spin-off game Shin Megami Tensei If, which was basically just that. It was just a Shin Megami Tensei game, but with teenagers in a high school that was overrun by demons.
Yeah.
No, it's any typical day in high school.
As you do. That's just normal for Tokyo.
I will say, interestingly enough, in the first 2 Persona games, the wildcard power wasn't reserved for the main character.
Mm-hmm.
All your party members can change personas in those games.
Interesting.
Now, they but like the downside is that some Arcanas worked better for a specific party member than others did.
Ah, okay, that's how the Arcanas mixed into it.
Yeah, but it's so interesting how they took that like power of the wild card away from everybody and made it a privilege instead of a right.
You are special if you have it.
Yeah. Speaking of party members, this is another weird decision in Persona 1. You get 4 at the start of the game, and then you get multiple opportunities to get a different character as your 5th party member. Weird thing is that if you, let's say you accept the first guy who offers to join your team as dude number 5.
Yeah.
None of the other characters even give you a choice. They're just gone.
Oh.
Again, if you pick dude number 1, you're stuck with the first dude that gave you the offer.
Dang.
So, like, imagine if in Persona 5 you had to pick between Yusuke and Makoto for who to help first. If you pick Yusuke, then Makoto just disappears and never joins your party.
That's actually kind of insane.
Then again, they could kind of get away with it because, you know, PlayStation 1 storytelling wasn't that in-depth outside of, you know, outside of Final Fantasy, so...
I guess so.
All they had to do was change the dialogue a little bit, and then there you go. I'm sure you've heard of this, the kind of like localization they did with Persona 1.
I've heard a few things, yeah.
Yeah, how they tried to Americanize it. Yeah, making one of the characters black, which, you know...
Yeah.
Still fine when that's the original intention, but when it's not, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know where I sit on that, to be fully honest with you.
Right, because, you know, it's a whole, like, 4 kids kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing, I feel like I can get that they're, like, trying to be inclusive with it all, but, like, at the same time, it feels really weird when that wasn't the original intention.
Right, yeah. Or, I feel more like it was just a case of, like, trying to make it for Americans to understand more than anything. Because apparently back in like the 90s and early 2000s, we didn't understand that Japan was a country.
The fuck's Japan?
I know, right? I don't know what a Judai is. His name's Jaden now.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right. But anyway, but yeah, Persona 1 is very primitive. It got like I think it got a PSP remake.
Yeah, it did.
Alongside like Persona 3, and Persona 2 got one. But the weird thing is like. Persona 2 is split up into 2 games.
Yeah.
I only got one of them localized.
Yeah, Eternal Punishment and Innocent Sin.
So, oops.
Uh-oh.
Right, let's actually get to Persona 2. So, like I said, it's split between 2 games. Kind of like Sonic 3 Knuckles, which is a comparison I'm only making so SL Sonic brand can keep up.
Thank you for dumbing it down for me.
Thank you. But yes, Persona 2 is... from what I've seen through Let's Plays and reviews, is where the Persona series definitely started to form its own identity separate from SMT. It was still like, it still played like an ordinary like RPG. You know, there was no social link aspect yet. But the story did get a big upgrade, especially when you put the 2 games side by side as one long narrative, as you should. I will say this, without going into spoilers. The second of the 2 games, I think it's Innocent Sin was the first one, and Eternal Punishment was the second Persona 2 game.
Yeah.
Eternal Punishment, for most of its run, definitely feels like just more of Innocent Sin, but I'll get into that when we get into the spoiler section.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing, this isn't really considered a spoiler from what I've seen because of how early it happens.
Yeah.
But they also included adult versions of Persona 1 characters in Persona 2. And some of them can actually join your team as temporary party members.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's actually a crazy thing about it, since from like Persona 3 onward, the mainline games become pretty separate after this. You know, but the spin-offs are a different beast, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mainly it about Persona 1 and 2, without going into spoiler stuff, but yeah.
Now I can talk.
Yeah, now we can get into the what we actually know. Persona 3, my favorite Persona game in terms of story.
Yeah, okay. Story, in terms of story, I'll give it to you there.
Gameplay-wise, definitely Persona 5.
Yeah, no, I like all the games for different reasons, and I'll get to them when we talk about each of them. But for story, that definitely goes to Persona 3.
Okay, I will say, people rag on the fact that you can't control your party members remotely in Persona 3 and FES. And yeah, that's understandable why that would be frustrating. But I mean, you know, it's kind of like being a dead horse at this point when you bring it up.
Yeah. I will say, as someone who didn't know you could control your party members in Portable, that the AI isn't that bad.
Right.
So, like, it's definitely it's nowhere near as bad as, like, the Donalds and the Goofies, but, like, yeah, it would be better to control them.
They give you, like, options to, like, you know, change their AI a bit to focus on different things.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Like, you can make them focus on SP, you can make them do more melee attacks, so on.
I played Portable, so I never had to deal with the issue of not being able to control party members.
I still play Portable and I had to deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, for some weird reason, they still give you the option for letting them be controlled by AI in later games, which I've never really understood.
Could just be like to focus less, like when you're grinding or something.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Trying to think of what we can say without spoilers.
Well, let's talk about the beginning of the story then, before we get into much spoiler territory.
Okay, so we have Mr. 2000's emo kid getting off the train, listening to Mass Destruction on his MP3 player. You know, to really show you that this was the early 2000s.
When's the last time you saw an MP3 player?
God.
I know, right? I thought about this recently. Like, when's the last time you saw an MP3 player or something like that?
I'm not the oldest yet. So yeah, he goes to a dormitory where he sees like a little boy just being like, "Hey, what's up? You want to sign this?" And not knowing that you should have a lawyer look over any documents before you sign something. The main character signs it with his full name.
Because you literally sell your soul to the devil.
Who knows? Yeah, probably. And then the little boy just disappears. So yeah, definitely somebody got a hold of your soul. And then a girl comes down the stairs, sees you there, and pulls out a gun. Don't worry, it's not loaded, which is weird, but okay. A redheaded chick who is the girl of my dreams shows up and...
Sorry.
I know. I had to include it in there. So... basically, you start going to school like any kid, you know, normally should. You meet Goofball 1 and, there are multiple Goofballs in Persona 3, but, you know, that's for spoiler section. And then you meet Protein Boy.
The boy of my dreams. There you go.
Yes, there you go. Now we're even.
Yeah.
One night, you know, the sky turns green, monsters start appearing all over. This giant monster climbs into the top of your dorm. You take the unloaded gun that girl had and just pull the trigger when pointed at your head.
Because you know you're just done with life at that point.
No bullet, so you don't kill yourself. Instead, you just summon a monster of your own to beat the demon, which...
as you do.
Thinking about now is kind of cool, but it is annoying how whenever a character does that in any video game or movie, you know someone's gonna make an edit where it's just like baby.
Yeah.
Well, this is obviously where the social link aspect came in.
Yeah.
And this was definitely where characterization kind of took a forefront.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, it was weird how, when it came to social links, you couldn't bond with any of your male party members until Portable,
stupid.
and even then, you had to pick the female protagonist.
Do you know how much I would like do to bond with Akihiko? I do a lot.
All right. Yeah. Let's leave it there. Leave it there. We want to keep this at least like semi-PG.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not insane.
I know. But yeah, this is definitely the start of the social link system, and it definitely has its rough edges compared to like how it is now. With like the whole reverse thing.
Exactly. If you piss off one of your friends enough, like you'll set your friendship back, and you have to apologize to them before they'll hang out with you again.
And then just lose access to the social link for the rest of the playthrough.
Some forgive you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I found it weird that, what was it, like the Moon Arcana, you had to reverse it, but then immediately after, the dude calls you being like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, you want to be friends again?" Like it was a mandatory reverse, which is just weird.
That's funny.
Like, another weird thing is, like I said, you couldn't bond with your male party members, only the female ones.
Yeah.
And they did this weird thing where, like, if you got any of the female social links, rank 10, they would date you.
Just instantly, you don't get a choice?
You don't even get a choice. It's just they are now your girlfriend now. You're
Dang,
forced to be a player if you want to get 100%, which is... Whoa.
Dang, I cheated on a few people and I didn't even mean to.
Right, I think... in the FemC route for Persona 3, don't they give you like the option with like the male party members? Like, yeah, no, I'm not interested.
I don't remember. I never played as the FemC, so I wouldn't know.
I feel like the only one where it's like complete and you don't age when it comes to like as your age in Persona 3 Portable is Junpei, but that's obviously for story reasons.
So I say that again?
Junpei was the only male party member in the FemC route where you definitely couldn't date, but that was because of story reasons.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yes, you're right. Apparently there was plans to make Junpei a romanceable party member, but that got caught during development.
Guys, you remember this specific character exists? And they're like, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
We want to at least make Junpei look like a good person. Or at least as good as you can make him, because oh boy, does he make some stupid decisions.
I mean, hey, I get Akihiko to myself then, so.
Alright, fair enough. But yeah, that's really about it without going into spoilers again.
Yeah, we'll come back to Persona 3 when we get to the spoiler section of this podcast.
Right, and Persona 4. Oh boy.
Yeah,
I feel like this is the one where we have to avoid spoilers the most.
True.
I feel like if you look up Persona 4, one of the first things you're gonna see is the answer to the biggest mystery.
True.
Because all the spin-offs definitely didn't even try to hide it.
Oh no, absolutely not.
But well, we're good people. We're gonna try our best. So Persona 4 is a murder mystery in terms of story. It's the usual Persona supernatural elements, and it definitely feels like, especially the original Persona 4 from what I've seen of a Let's Play of it, because I've never played the original. I've only played Golden. The original Persona 4 definitely feels like more Persona 3, and I feel like that was kind of intentional, since I feel like the dev team kind of realized, oh, we had a winning formula with Persona 3.
Yeah, like we should have meddled with this.
Let's do it again. And also because Persona 4 was released at like the tail end of the PS2's life cycle.
I think the PS3 had even come out by then.
You could do, yeah. Persona 4 definitely had an effect on the rest of the Persona series.
Absolutely.
Both like how Alice handled the series and also how the fans view the series.
Exactly, because Persona 4 is definitely one of the most popular Persona games.
It's like the juggernaut of the Persona series until Persona 5 came out.
Exactly, like it was the one like nobody talked shit about, or else like you would face the wrath of 100 angry anime fans.
Definitely not. I will say, I do think first it is. People get on Persona 4's case for being like a bright, cheerful game when it's about a murder mystery.
True.
And like, yeah, it's a little weird starting out, but you get used to it after a little while.
Like it is like I see where they're coming from, where they say it's like more cheerful because it is less dark than the other ones, even if it is about a murder mystery.
See, like the color scheme for Persona 4,
especially since the theme of Persona 4 is yellow, so that does help.
That's what I meant. And I feel like with Persona 4, it definitely fixed a lot of the issues with Persona 3 and even FES. Again, you could control your party members for the first time, and also allowed you to interact with all social links for all your party members this time. All your party members have social links. And like I said, from Persona 3 onward, the mainline game stays separate.
Yeah.
You don't have to like play Persona 3 to understand Persona 4 outside of like one thing.
Yeah, one moment, but we'll get to that.
Even then, it's not like that big a deal. But
exactly, like I played Persona 4 before Persona 3, and I still understood it.
Right. I feel like a lot of people have done the same thing, or even like Persona 5 was their first game, and then they went back.
Yeah, that's what happened with me. So, will I just introduce the story without getting into spoilers too much?
Yeah, I like just to like as the setup for the thing. you are a city boy going into a very small town because your parents work overseas. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
They're not dead. I know they're not dead. They are both alive. They're just not around, so they just leave you at your uncle's place in this small town called Inaba. Your uncle is a detective, and he has this little daughter that's your cousin, and she's adorable.
She's adorable. I love her so much.
Happen to her.
You make sure nothing bad ever happens to her.
Right, of course. But after just seeing the town for a little bit, you go home, and then when you go to school, everyone's obsessed with you because you're the.
Yeah, it's like you always flock to the new kid and find out what they're like.
Right, it's like Twilight, but better. I can't keep escaping saying that.
That's actually really accurate the more you think about it.
Yeah, oh, it really is accurate, huh?
Yeah. But anyway, you make some new friends, and
you basically find out about this rumor called the Midnight Channel from one of your new friends. And it's basically this thing where it's like at midnight when you're alone in your room and you're staring at the TV, it suddenly just turns on by itself, and then you see something going on. And
you see your soulmate supposedly.
It's supposed to be like your soulmate or something.
Yeah, you see,
but
your soulmate.
I don't know why he does it, but your main character just sticks his hand into the TV, and it actually goes through the screen.
Yeah.
And he decides the next day to go to his new friend Yosuke owns like the big department store there, or like his dad does.
His dad owns it. He works there part-time.
Right. They go there to hang out, and your main character Narukami, he's just like, hey guys, you want to see a magic trick? Sticks his hand in there and then pulls the two in with him.
Yeah.
And
that's where we're gonna stop I think that's where we stop for spoiler reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Okay, we're gonna stop here. But yeah, I will say before we go into the spoiler section, I feel like the strongest thing about Persona 4 is the character work.
That's absolutely what I was gonna say. I love about Persona 4 the most. The characters are the best.
I feel like it only applies to the main cast with your party members and a few notable exceptions outside of your party. Other than that, I feel like a lot of the social links aren't all that great.
Okay, this is something we're gonna disagree on, but we can get to that when we talk about characters.
Okay, like in the spoiler section, I guess.
Yeah.
And finally, the big boy,
Persona 5.
First off, boy, did the original game get delayed to hell and back.
Oh boy, yeah, we thought it was coming out winter 2014. Yeah, that did not happen.
Well, okay, it did come out on the PS3, but oh boy, didn't.
Yeah, but it was meant to be PS3 exclusive. It got pushed back so far, it also got put on the PS4.
After all the wait we did as Kingdom Hearts fans, Kingdom Hearts 3 still came out on the PS3. Could you imagine?
Oh boy, I would hate that.
Because that's the one of the things that I feel Royal has over Persona 5 original is that Persona 5 had to be made to fit on the PS3.
Yeah.
Royal was a PS4 exclusive.
Exactly.
So it was able to do a lot, especially in terms of graphics.
Yeah.
Persona 5 is like the inverse of Persona 4, even more than Persona 3 was. Because, again, you're the new kid, except I think it's implied like you're like Ren or Akira, or I'm gonna go with Ren because I'm more used to it.
I'm not, but just keep that in mind.
Also because there's a character in Strikers named Akira, so it's weird.
There is? I forgot about that.
Yeah, there is. Anyway.
Oh yeah, there is, okay.
We'll get into that later. But yes, no guys, Neo Tweety did not rip off Persona 5. Shibuya is a real place.
It's a real place in Japan, guys.
Ren has a criminal record. He's on probation, and his probation officer is this cafe owner with the smoothest voice I've ever heard from a man.
Absolutely amazing.
But yeah, he basically gets accepted into the only school that will let him in, and this is like a private school, I think it is, called Shujin Academy.
Yep.
I think it's a private school, and I think it's the principal mentions like, oh, we accept him because we get a lot of credit for being able to like redeem this like fallen student or something.
Yep. Something along those lines.
They really just did it for PR, which whatever.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, this is why it's the inverse of Persona 4. In Persona 4, your main character was basically just loved by everyone for being the new kid. Meanwhile, because of your criminal record, in Persona
Everyone hates
5,
you.
everyone hates you and wants nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Outside of a few exceptions, but, you know.
Yeah, the majority of people
few
don't want anything to do with you.
This isn't even seen in the small detail, like, you can't even join clubs, school clubs in Persona 5.
Oh yeah, you can't, huh?
Yeah, because, you know, I bet there are school clubs. There definitely are. It's just like nobody wants you.
Yeah, there are. There's literally sports teams is like the
Right.
is like one of the big like plot points for the first story
It's
arc.
just that, you know, again, because of your criminal record, nobody wants you. Which, I mean, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't be comfortable either.
Yeah, it's upsetting though.
Well, I'll say, I think gameplay-wise, Persona 5 has the other two beat.
Oh, hands down.
I mean, it's not even a contest.
Yeah, no. Persona 5 has the best quality of life, has the best additions, has the best graphics.
You know, everybody said it when the game came out, and again when Royal came out. But this game, you know, Persona 5 just has the best UI I've seen in like years.
Sakurai even based his UI in Smash off of the Persona 5 UI, and said that if they had a UI contest, Persona 5 would win hands down.
Oh damn. But
So like that just goes to show that like someone that talented can like recognize it.
Right. Persona 5 does have its downsides, especially the original. Royal fixed a few things, but you know, some of the issues are still there a little bit. I feel like there were characters who definitely didn't get much screen time, which we will get into later.
Characters who could have been better as well.
Oh, definitely. On one hand, it kind of felt like it was like how things were paced near the end. It kind of felt like they were intentionally leaving content Atlas, so that way they could make a re-enhanced version later on.
Yeah, I think we should touch up on that in when we get to spoiler territory.
Right. What else is there? I think I like the idea of confidants, especially the idea that you get rewarded on achieving ranks.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like that's a way better implementation of it being like my friends are my power kind of thing, without it just being like, oh, Persona extra EXP and stuff like that. Also like the ideas of Persona 5, like, you know, the twisted desires and everything.
Because everyone has them.
Right. I will say that I feel like part of it is intentional, but the villains are kind of just like one note.
And the game likes to focus on the villains more than the heroes, so like that's really where the problem lies.
Right.
Because if you make your
I
characters
will say Royal definitely fixed that with its new villain, who I won't say who it is yet.
We won't talk about it now, but
that ending, the ending included in Royal got me to tear up. I won't lie, when the credits were rolling, I was a mess.
I mean, I'm always a mess, so.
And before we go into spoilers, you want to just talk briefly about like spin-offs and stuff?
Yeah, let's do that.
You know, like they're definitely. It's not like Kingdom Hearts where it's like the spin-offs are important.
Yeah, no, it's like you don't need them is the thing. You could pay
get like a little extra character and stuff, and then, like Persona 4 Arena's case, you know, it definitely includes like kind of acts as also an epilogue for the Persona 3 cast.
Yeah, but like you don't need it is the thing.
You don't need to play the dancing game to understand what's going on in Persona 5, or even Persona 4 for that matter. It's just there for dumb fun, and the story mode included in Persona 4 Dancing doesn't matter at all.
It really doesn't.
Same with like the Persona Q games, and they even go the extra mile saying, oh, you're not gonna even remember this when you go back. I will say the first Persona Q game definitely did not age well.
I mean, I never really liked Q all that much.
Like Q2 definitely was a much bigger improvement. I'll say that, and it, you know, it was just fun. It was Persona Q2 was fun, and it definitely helped that it was basically like started off with like the P5 cast, which makes sense, and they were the reason Persona Q2 even existed. And I feel like they definitely handled like the giant cast a lot better than the first one.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that.
I know, so as a bit of a movie fan, I'm definitely biased with the whole theater thing. Is there a Persona racing game? Does that exist?
No Persona racing game, unfortunately.
Damn it.
If I may go back
we're giving you ideas here.
If I may go back to Q, I didn't really like Q all too much. Like, the writing in the cast I loved, because I liked all the Persona games, but I couldn't get behind the gameplay of 2. I'm sorry, it was not 2, Q. I just couldn't get behind Q.
The reason it was on the 3DS was because Persona Q was also a crossover with Adachi and Odyssey, which was another Atlas game. It was basically just dungeon crawling, and you would draw maps on the bottom screen. It's definitely based on Adachi and Odyssey, which was a DS and 3DS series, so it made sense why Persona Q was on 3DS, because you know the gameplay was going to work.
Persona 5 Strikers.
Wait. Oh, yes, that's right. I almost forgot. Persona 5 Strikers is definitely...
It's better than Arena was.
It's like most connected to the mainline games.
Yeah, because it's literally a continuation of the original Persona 5.
Right, definitely. And I feel like we'll get into this with the spoiler section, but the story definitely felt like it took cues from Royal.
Yeah, no.
I feel like the reason for this was because I know they were both developed at the same time.
Exactly.
I feel like they were both given like mandates, like, okay, include this type of character, include this type of character, and that's how we ended up with this situation where it's like there's more Phantom Thieves than there are investigation team members and even Seize members. Like, what?
Yeah. So now we're gonna enter a spoiler territory.
Alright, here we go. Right before we talk about spoilers, I will say, definitely pick up these games. We recommend. Well, what game would you say is the perfect like starting point for?
I would say Persona 4.
Actually, definitely.
4 or 5.
On Steam.
4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah.
4 is.
We wouldn't recommend playing Persona 3 because it still has its rough edges. Even now. And also because you can't really play it anymore without emulating it.
Exactly. So 4 is the most accessible. It's on Steam. It can run on even not the strongest computers. I ran it on my laptop.
Flag Royal is also a good start. If you have to play Persona 5, I guess. I don't know why you picked that over Royal, but
you should do Royal over Persona 5 if you want to get into Persona 5.
It's the same game, but even better. Okay, spoiler time.
Spoilers.
Basically, just to mention, yes, the memes are correct. Hitler is a villain in one of the Persona 2 games. I still love how it's like the English, the localized versions tried to censor this by just giving him shades and just being like, oh, this isn't Hitler, this is his rad cousin or something.
They give him the name like the what is it?
General or something. They don't actually give him a name.
They call him the like German word for leader, I think, in like some places, which is that's the German word for leader, which I feel like is kind of worse in some cases. I feel like it's worse in some cases.
It's like, guys, he's called the Führer. It's still obvious that it's him.
Yeah.
You could call him like the General or something, and you might have gotten away with it a little bit. Now those little kids playing Persona 2 are gonna ask their parents like, "Hey, what's a Führer?" and then just be terrified.
Yeah, exactly. Not the smartest move.
I would be scared if any kids are playing Persona 2 back then, but okay. Okay, but yeah, that's basically all I wanted to mention from Persona 2, outside of the fact that, so Innocent Sin, the first of the 2 games, ends with the heroes failing, and the Velvet Room guys are basically just like, okay, don't worry guys, we know how to save the world, universal reset. And they make it so the only difference in this new universe is that none of the main cast met each other as children, because when they hung out as children, that's what started everything that led up to the events of the game. So Eternal Punishment, that's what I meant by it being a lot more of the same as Innocent Sin, because you really do just go through similar like dungeons and missions, just with a different cast of characters. Because again, it's basically just the same story in a different universe. Yeah, okay. Persona 3 time.
Alright.
Draga. Not do as much as you would think they do when they're first introduced in the game.
Oh yeah, I forgot who they were for a second.
There's like that level of mystery, being like, oh, there's these other Persona users outside of us. They're using their powers for evil, because of course there's got to be somebody. Oh man, what's their deal? And you don't really find out they were like part of like failed test subjects of the Kirijo group in like Persona 4 Arena. If I'm mistaken, and there was like a mention of it in Persona 3, but
it's implied. I think
it was implied, but then it was outright saying Persona 4 Arena because of show.
Yeah.
But I feel like Chidori was the most developed out of the 3, but that's because of her relationship with Junpei.
Yeah.
So it's a given. The other 2 had nothing going on. I mean, Takaya could have been interesting because it was whole outlook being like we're all destined to die at some point, so why not just get it over with now?
Yeah. See, here's the thing about Draga. I forgot who they were until it like sat with me for a second.
That's what I mean.
Like I completely forgot Draga was in the game. I remembered Chidori because her relationship with Junpei, but I completely forgot about Takaya and Jin. Like
right.
I
and
did.
Then another weird thing is like Shinji, which we're all still sad about.
Yeah.
It's like the whole plot point, like he can't control his persona, so he gets like control drugs from Draga, who only have it because they themselves cannot control their personas. That's the weird thing. It's basically made canon at this point that the reason Draga can't control their personas is because they're filled test subjects where they got like the same kind of injections as like their robots, like Igus, to artificially get personas.
Yeah.
But then, what's the case with Shinji? Why can't he control his? Was he a test subject that isn't, like almost a walking corpse? Yeah, because I looked it up online because I was curious about it one day when I realized this. And yeah, no, nobody knows. It's never been stated why. Shinji just happens to not be able to control his persona. Maybe it has something to do with his character instead of like, circumstances in the story, but who knows?
So since we're talking about Shinji, how about we talk about the big twist with Shinji?
Oh,
how he dies halfway through.
Oh yeah, that was... It's ironic how one of the pieces of equipment he can get is a bulletproof vest. Definitely doesn't help.
Oh boy, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's kind of like sad irony, honestly. Yeah, I was not... when you see like Ken be... I feel like the first instance of this whole twist was when Shinji knew about Ken, and Ken was the reason he even joined C's to begin with in the actual game. That was like the first hint towards the twist, and then October 4th happens, the whole thing with revenge and everything.
Yeah.
And then they ruin it in Portable.
Yeah, they did ruin it in Portable.
Because if you play the FemC route and you max out Social Link, you find this pocket watch he lost, and he puts it in his like coat pocket, like his breast pocket of his coat, so that way when he gets shot, the watch like takes the bullet for him, but he still gets hurt with the shock and passes out. So you think like, okay, he's gonna die, he's still gonna die, right? No, he's just in a coma, then he wakes up at the very end of the game.
That's upsetting.
It really is, especially with how you think about, like, the whole thing with Persona 3 is like, it's the inevitability of death. That's the whole theme. Death, you're gonna face it one way or another, you're gonna die. But it turns it optimistically by saying, if you're gonna die, you might as well live this one life you have to the fullest.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that message.
I mean, it's understandable, like, sometimes you can have a near-death experience, which I think was, like, kind of the point with Shinji. He nearly died, so, it almost felt like he did die. But, he came back. Yeah, it's also the thing, it's like, when he dies, and when the original idea was that he does die, definitively. But now you change it to saying, like, he didn't really die, or at least he won't if you do this certain thing. It kind of ruins it. Kind of ruins the impact.
Definitely.
He did this once before with Chidori and Fez, because if you tell Junpei to write things on certain days, he goes to visit Chidori's hospital room after she sacrificed herself for him, and he puts the flowers she used her life ability on top of her, and then the life energy she put into those flowers goes back into her to revive her. What?
It's
then they try to pull the whole thing where it's like, oh, because she did technically die, she doesn't remember anything. So now Junpei's just sad, and like...
Tree had some problems.
Whatever, man. Yeah, I feel like that was the thing with like re-releases of Persona 3. They tried to bog down the message by trying to make it more happy. And then like, oh no, this character lived. Oh no, this character lived. Next thing you know, they're like in Persona 6 or something. They're gonna be like, oh, we stopped death. Now, the main character can stop being a door.
It feels like it sometimes. One thing I want to say though is that the Shinji death did make me appreciate Akihiko a lot more because of the turmoil he goes through because of it.
Yeah.
because like it
Yeah,
created a
definitely-
really touching moment when he's like crying over his grave at the school memorial, or like the shrine to him, I guess.
Look, I was just saying, like, Shinji and Chidori were definitely not really much of characters themselves. They were just basically there to, like, push the development of Akihiko, Ken, and Junpei, all the characters around them.
Absolutely, because like Akihiko, I think is my favorite male in the Persona series.
Right, yeah.
Like because of the character development he got
It's
as well.
between him and Yusuke for me.
That's fair.
But I'll say this. I do like the idea with Persona 3 of making Persona Evolutions tie into the story.
Definitely, yeah. I think I like that better than the gameplay.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah.
And I hope that in Persona 6, they go back to this. Because as cool as it is being a reward, it's like, oh, you complete your party member social link. Here's their evolved persona. I feel like they could do it like, we already have their confidant rewards. So just transfer those over and then make Persona Evolutions like mandatory for the storyline. So, you still get a reward for completing their social links, or confidants, or whatever they're gonna call them in Persona 6.
I don't know. I just feel like, because here's the thing, you could just not max them out, and no matter, like, you could try to, but you could just run out of time and fail to max them out.
Exactly.
Because when I played Persona
and then
3,
you give like the cool skills or
Yeah.
the cool new look to their personas or stuff. Yeah.
like when I played Persona 3, I think I failed to max out Mitsuru and I think someone else.
That was another thing. It was weird how social links were handled in Persona 3.
Definitely.
Because again, with like the female party members, you had to max out one of your stats.
Yeah.
You like even start social link with one of your female party members. Like Yukari, I think it was charm.
Yeah.
I think
Yukari
it
was
like,
charm,
bravery
and
for
then
Fuka.
Fuka was like kindness, and then Mitsuru was intelligence, or something like that.
I think intelligence was definitely Mitsuru. I think it was like bravery because
Oh, it's not,
Fuka's
yeah,
whole thing
bravery.
early
Yeah.
on was
You're right. You're right. Yeah, it's bravery.
bravery to eat her food because priestesses in Persona just can't cook.
Yeah, they cannot.
Outside of maybe Makoto, but we don't know for sure.
Well, we don't know if Makoto can cook, but
Did she even need to when she has Haru like
Exactly.
as her roommate?
like, yeah.
Let's say that I don't think overall it does have a good message. I love the final boss. And now like does the whole Arcana thing to show like, oh, she's kind of playing by your rules.
Yeah, definitely. I like how it just ties into the overall theming of Persona and the social links and the confidants
Right.
and the
And then
Arcanas.
the answer. Okay, here's the thing. I don't hate the answer. I know that's a controversial opinion.
Okay.
I don't hate the answer, but I do hate parts of it. Mostly what it did to like certain characters, especially Yukari. Like understandably, Yukari, when she gets the chance to get someone back that she lost, she wants that chance.
Yeah.
That's understandable. It's just the fact she's so desperate and so angry when people don't give her that chance. It's kind of like the point of no return for her.
No, I get that.
And also, Metis was a character who existed.
Yeah, but like,
That wasn't. I remember like the whole twist being like, oh, she was like Agus's shadow, which was like kind of a hint towards like the whole thing where it was like shadows can like take on a human form and be like their own identity, maybe.
yeah.
No, like this is. I don't even know. Was FES out before Persona 4? Because this was either before or after Teddy.
I think it was before.
Okay, yeah, so this is like the setup for like Teddy's whole thing. Maybe they had Teddy planned and like, let's like use Metis as a way to like introduce this concept before like going head first and like talking bear.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I feel like that's really it about Persona 3. Outside of the fact that, God, the answer is really tough from what I've seen. I haven't played it, but Jesus.
I haven't played it either, but yeah, it looks tough because it's like here's the thing. I feel like the answer should have been its own thing. Like not like yes, it should have connected to Persona 3, but it shouldn't have been the same game again.
Right.
Like it could have been like, it could have been like a boss rush or something, but like no, it's the same game again.
Cool. Would have been cool. Just a boss rush, and every once in a and between every boss, you would get like this mini floor where you get like, certain parts of like what happened. Yeah. That'd be cool. Behind the scenes.
But no, it's just Tartarus all over again.
Anyway, so enough of Persona 3. On to Persona 4.
Yes.
Adachi, most
Let's talk about
most
Adachi.
well known, not even hidden, just most recognizable part of Persona 4 now.
Yep.
You know, I feel like I remember at first people that I knew who played Persona did not like Adachi.
I mean, he's not really a likable character.
Yeah, no, I mean like as a character, like not even like, you can hate a character but still be like, oh, that's a good character. Like people still thought like, I don't know how to feel about Adachi, or even like I just hate Adachi as like a character.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that was also because like the mystery wasn't that well handled in Persona 4 from what I've heard, because he was the only like reoccurring character without a social link.
Well, Golden did fix that.
Yes, but even then, it was still kind of weird how he was the Jester, which was the same number as the Fool.
Yeah.
So it's like still kind of suspicious, where it's like, because I feel like the Aeon, which was like Marie in that game, who was also a new character, new social link, still got her own number on the card.
Yeah, she got like 20 or something.
That was 20.
Yeah.
Or maybe even 21. I don't even remember. But
it was something.
Yeah, it was exactly that.
Yeah, it was something like that.
And the whole thing was like, when did you figure it out that it might have been Adachi?
Because I watched the Let's Play before.
Okay, yeah, same here. It's like, I feel like for a lot of people who didn't get spoiled, twist was still incoming when you started to connect the dots a bit. I feel like for a lot of people, the moment of realization is when Naoto says like, it has to be someone familiar enough for people to want to open their doors to them.
Yeah, it was a gut feeling. Like I just felt something
and then
tugging
she then
me.
mentions like the only way they could even find out about these people is if, or maybe it was like Nawatame's like whole testimony where it's like, oh, so a detective gave him the idea, and that's when you're like, oh boy. It couldn't have been Dojima because he loves Nanako, his daughter, and she was one of the victims.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah.
I will say this: Nawatame, he was good as a bit of like a red herring, but did we really also need Kubo, the Mitsuo, the little?
Oh yeah, no, we did not need him. I didn't think it was him at all.
Incel dude.
I didn't think it was him.
Oh yeah, definitely not. But did we really need him when we also had Namatame? Did we really need two red herrings?
No.
Oh.
Okay, can I say Namatame is actually a little creepy.
Oh, definitely.
Like I think I actually had like chills going to bed the night we saw his shadow in like the heaven dungeon.
Right.
I actually had trouble sleeping that night. So I'm like, oh god, that was actually terrifying.
Right. And the whole thing with like Adachi's motivation is that he doesn't really have one. It's not like Draga where it's just like, we're gonna bring Doomsday, just kill everybody, or like Shiro where it's like, I want to win the election because I'm fucking Senator Armstrong for Metal Gear Rising. For Adachi's just, I had the power to throw people on the TV and I did it, and I'll do it again. And it's like, I feel like Adachi is one of the most realistic villains I've seen in like media, because I feel like that's kind of the case for a lot of people who commit crime. It's just like I just saw the door of opportunity and I opened it. That's really it.
Yeah, it is.
And like Adachi has grown on me, especially because of like his whole like separate DLC story in Persona, the Arena games.
Speaking of Arena, let's hop over to that.
Yeah, let's hop over to that.
So Persona 4
Arena.
Arena.
One last thing before we actually do jump into Arena. The Izanami twist.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we should do that.
Gas station employee thing.
I don't know why they did that.
Whoa. You don't know why they did that?
Yeah, like.
I mean, it's kind of understandable because the whole thing with like Izanami is that she wanted to greet people and see, if any like newcomers were like had potential for like big scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know too much of the Persona's stories, so.
But yeah, the whole thing is like, a better way to find new people to like grant power to than be a gas station boy, because as we saw at the very beginning of the game,
it's the first place to go to.
Pick, Narukami up and be like, oh man, we need gas, and just shake hands things like, hey, welcome to town.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, no, I don't really get why this god is pretending to be a gas station employee, and it kind of mitigated a little bit with Marie. I get what they were trying to do with the whole like memory thing, and also just being like, oh, she has ties to Izanami, but it's like, You really need that?
I feel like Marie is more of an afterthought, and even the gas station attendant is just an afterthought.
Right, because the whole comb thing is kind of stupid.
Yeah, like, it was, like, finishing off Adachi just, like, kind of put everything in a nice bow, and then this kind of just, like...
It was already a nice bow.
It tried to make it tighter, but then it looks like you just have rope wrapped around each other.
It's like, the original Persona 4 was already a tight-knit bow with Izanami by yourself. But there was no point in adding Marie other than just pad out the game, give us an extra dungeon. And I also feel like it might have also been done. They might have included Marie just so they could have a new character. Just being like, oh, there's this whole new character. You should buy the game even if you played the original. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't hate Marie. Okay, I like her character, but like I feel like the way it was included wasn't the best.
Right, yeah. I don't know if I'm... Oh, okay, anyway.
Let's hop into Arena.
First off, why did they give the robot a Brooklyn accent?
Oh yeah, why did she get a Brooklyn accent?
Okay,
it's not even explained. It's not even...
Side of the game, the reason was because, in the Japanese version, they gave Labris the Osaka dialect, I think it's called, which is basically just that in America. The Brooklyn accent is basically just, the same thing. So, but still, so you also have to ask the Japanese team, why the Osaka accent? Just to make her sound different? I mean, it's cute every once in a while, but it also gets on your nerves.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the voice actress definitely did do her best.
Oh,
I don't
definitely,
know if she's from Brooklyn.
I'm not disrespecting her voice, it's just out of place.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I'll say, the original Arena's story mode was definitely not handled well.
Nope. Not at all.
Just the same thing over and over again, which on one hand it makes sense. You could almost play any character in any order you want. So you need to be like, okay, this could be someone's first story mode. We need to explain to them. It's like, the only interesting one is Lavish's story, but that's because it doesn't have any fights in it. It's just like a whole like hour going over her backstory.
I think Elizabeth is mostly like similar.
Oh yeah.
Or it could be. I don't know. I actually don't remember.
Then Ultimax came around and handled it a lot better.
Oh,
like you separate it into being like, this is the P4 cast story, P3, and then if you got the DLC, Adachi. But now it's like, now it's been re-released, Adachi just comes with the story. Yeah. And, I will say, Sho is it's a pretty interesting villain.
Definitely one of the better villains of the Persona series.
Pretty well. Sorry?
I was saying that he's definitely one of the better villains of the Persona like franchise.
Yeah. It sucks that I guess it's because he's a spin-off character that he doesn't really go up much.
Yeah.
Outside of the spin-off games.
Which is
because I definitely want to see more of him in the future. It'd be really interesting. I remember seeing some people theorize like, oh, Sho is the main character of Persona 5 because the main character's hairdo looks similar.
Yeah, but then
there was like that piece of code in P4 Arena Ultimax that said P5 Hero or something.
Yeah.
Other than that, but yeah, it was interesting seeing Sho how everything going on with him and Akutsuki and everything just made Akutsuki even worse of a human being. If that was possible.
Yeah, like I didn't think that was possible, but it is.
Yeah. I thought his whole thing where it's like he had split personalities and only one of them had a persona was also interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really about it.
I don't know. If you crucify people, that makes you not a good guy.
Definitely not. But,
yeah.
But then he just disappears in the game. But it's in. I've seen heard in like the manga of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Yes, there is a manga for it.
Of course there is. Why isn't there? Why wouldn't there be?
They show Sho. I know. Whoa.
Wow.
They have him in like some other country in a different outfit. So it's implied like after he escaped the TV world, he just started traveling around the world. Okay, cool. Now we got another Akihiko on the loose, but this time he has swords. Oh god.
At least we can trust Akihiko.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so Snowboard Dancing.
Yeah. It's a game.
It's goofy, but it's fun. I won't lie.
Okay, yeah, no, I do have fun with the dancing games occasionally.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense, you know, if Kingdom Hearts Melody and Memory has taught me anything, it's like, if you have really great music, the rhythm game is almost undeniable. Like, you just have to get it at some point.
True.
I can't wait for a rhythm game for the Xenoblade games. That's gonna slap.
Come on, Nintendo.
Yeah. Give us what we want. Give us what we want, Monolith Soft. Come on.
But yeah, I feel like the dancing games, there's not much to say about
There's
them.
not much to talk about.
What you see is what you get.
One has like a story mode.
Yeah, like what you see is what you see is what you get. It's a fun dancing game. It's fan service, but like it's good fan service.
Right, yeah. Not that kind of fan service, you degenerates. But
yeah, like what were you thinking about?
Oh, okay. There are the swimsuit costumes.
That's different.
That's a whole different discussion.
That's different.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Persona 3 and 5 dancing games are also pretty good. I feel like what bogged them down was like it kind of felt like a rushed job a little bit.
Yeah.
The song selection in both games kind of feel like cut in half.
Yeah, I feel like
they were developing 2 games, so understandable, but still.
I feel like 3 is the best one just in terms of actually converting to a rhythm game.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all pretty good though, in my opinion.
Yeah. Surprisingly, like Persona 3, the rhythm, Persona 3, like what was it, Dancing in Moonlight, is the only like Persona 3 spinoff we have outside of the Q games.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's interesting, but okay, Persona 5.
Right, Persona 5.
Oh boy,
where do we begin?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I just want to start talking about him because Jesus. I feel like they didn't know what to do with him in the original Persona 5 because they wanted him to be like a rival to Joker. You know, he represented chaos, he represented justice.
Yeah.
But then the weird thing is like they try to make it the reverse when the big twist with Yaldabaoth is revealed, where Kechi represented chaos, which is like what?
Yeah, it is. Like.
Then they do the whole Black Mask thing, which they don't even try to hide, but I feel like that was kind of intentional.
Yeah.
The big twist I feel was like the fan thieves saw it coming.
Yeah, it's not.
Twist.
Yeah, the big twist
is was the bad guy.
Like the big twist isn't that Akechi's a traitor. It's that they thought through it and created a plan to get around this death that was coming.
Yeah, Akechi is the most interesting villain, and even then, it's like it's not by much.
Yeah.
The other villains, the palace holders, are just like, and they come off as one note mostly because you're interacting with their shadowy selves, which are one note and cartoony intentionally. You don't really get much with like the actual characters. Like again, I made the joke about Shiro being like just Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising. At least you get like Senator Armstrong gets like a lot of screen time because he's like the final boss. You know, he interacts a lot. He shows up. Shiro only gets like one flashback scene. He gets like that scene near the elevator where he just tells the 2 kids to piss off. And then he just disappears until like the end of the game.
That is fair. Yeah. That's the problem with like.
You like the little detail that I found out about later on after I beat that part of Persona 5 Royal with the boat. That, those little scenes where Shiro is like calling the mini bosses that you beat, being like, "Are you sure I can trust you?" Is actually he's doing that because you're affecting his opinion when you beat those mini bosses.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
I don't know if I can really trust this guy right now. And that's when he realizes, like, oh god, they're back, they're doing something to catch you, go get them.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Kamoshida is like definitely one of the more interesting villains in the original Persona 5. Because like, because of the tutorial, you know, there's a lot of time to like set him up for you to like just
see how much of a irredeemable human being he is.
In my favorite, the villain I hated the most out of all of them in Persona 5 Royal, Persona 5 Original was Madarame, the second one, but that's because I'm an artist. I'm kind of biased there.
Yeah, true.
But then Royal fixed this, kind of. They didn't make any of the villains more fleshed out, but they did make one very fleshed out villain, Maruki.
Definitely. And that was
I feel like the first step they did to fix them was like I said, all the shadowy cells were one note, one dimensional, which is baddies you would see in a Saturday morning cartoon. The fact that Maruki was there himself and not like his shadow self definitely made it seem like this is the guy, this is him.
Because he definitely had like good intentions going into this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because the whole thing, like, the only reason you even get like this third semester where he's the big bad is if you complete social link. So you already have a connection with him. You already understand, like, hey man, this man went through a lot. You know, he lost his like girlfriend.
Yeah.
Everything. It's kind of sad. It's terrible.
Yeah. So like, since he lost his girlfriend, he wants to create a world where there is just no sadness.
Right, and it's never shown. I don't even know if he did this. Well, okay. First off, he made his first usage of his persona powers was accidental, and he made Rui forget about him.
Yeah.
It's not like when he like gets to this palace and takes over, you know, changes everything. It's never shown, and it's never even implied. It definitely confirmed one. He never fixed Rui to remember him and be in love with him again.
Yeah.
So it really did sell the fact that this was a selfless act on his part.
And then
like the whole thing with Kasumi Sumire, another factor that showed like this is just Marky's just a good guy. Deep down, you know, it's still kind of messed up how he just, oh, I know how to fix you. Just believe you're your sister.
Can I be real for a
It's all
sec?
messed up, but it's like on the other hand, it's like he has this power. Why not use it if it actually has some positive effects on the offset?
Can I be real? I kind of saw the twist with Kasumi and Sumire kind of coming because of Ace Attorney.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Ace Attorney.
Eeny meeny thing.
Yeah, Ace Attorney 2 does the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did kind of see it coming, but.
But they didn't go to the fact like, oh, Sumire got plastic surgery to look
Yeah,
like
no,
Kasumi.
it's
She just
no,
did her hair differently.
Yeah, she just ties. She just puts her hair in a ponytail now.
I liked Kasumi. She was cute. I also like. There's this headcanon I saw that I can't get enough of. The fact that Sumire's phone is broken is because it's Kasumi's phone, which broke in the crash.
Oh.
That's both sad, but also really funny.
Yeah, it is actually kind of. The illusion went so far. She took the broken phone and used that.
I know, but it's also weird because how do you think the parents feel? Because you see her dad, and he refers to her as Sumire. They kind of like do this weird thing where it's like they censor him.
Yeah.
Remember that? But it's still weird because that implies like he knows it's still Sumire.
Like he took her there.
Right. He knows, like, it's not like Marky changed his mind to be like, oh, this is my daughter Kasumi or something.
Yeah.
No, even in the more perfect world, the dad still knows that's his daughter Sumire. So it's weird, like, what do you think he thinks? Like, is this like her way of grieving, just pretending to be her sister? I'm thinking too much on this, of course, but still.
Yeah, but like, how do I put this in words? It's like.
Then the whole thing. Oh, sorry.
It's just like how you deal with grief in general, and then like.
It's different for everybody.
Because it's still like, and then like in the quest to eliminate sadness, you need to also eliminate grief as well.
Right.
So why grieve
there's
when?
The whole thing with Adachi and his own aspects of like he was also saved by Marky because they did confirm Adachi did die, or did he?
No, he well,
the very end that
I forgot about that post-credit scene.
I made the Marvel reference earlier, but Jesus Christ, that post-credit scene
that fucked up everything.
We don't get a Persona 5 arena and Adachi doesn't show up. I swear to God.
Yeah, it's. We're still waiting for our answers, Atlas.
Obviously, because Royal was developed alongside Strikers. Strikers didn't have anything to reference from Persona 5 Royal.
Exactly. So
they couldn't be like, oh, Akechi might still be alive somewhere. You know, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, Sumire and Marky are never referenced.
Because
in fact, they feel like they get it kind of replaced by Sophia and Zenkichi.
Definitely. They even kind of look like the characters they were meant to replace.
Oh, definitely.
Sophia, especially with the red hair.
Oh, yeah. It had to be intentional. Yeah, I mean, like, the Akechi thing kind of caught me off guard because I really did think, like, oh, okay, this is just going to be a thing where, like, he survived, but he's also under the effects of, you know, the whole unreality or whatever. No, that's Kingdom Hearts. What did they call it here in Persona 5?
Oh, I forget. Like, remember.
Realization or something?
I think so.
Okay, wait. Yeah, the whole thing with like the realized world Maruki makes. So you think like, okay, Akechi's still alive. He's just like also isn't affected by it in the same way Joker is. So maybe it's like a wild card thing. But then, it's revealed like Maruki basically just revived Akechi for some reason, and the reason why is because Ren missed him, I guess.
Because they're friends, even though they don't want to admit it.
But then Akechi's just like, oh no. Okay. So yeah, the whole thing with like Akechi, I do like the fact that he was just like, hey man, forget about me. I want to stay dead. I don't want to be his puppet.
Yeah.
That's fall in line with like his characterization in the latter half of the original Persona 5. I feel like they really did fix Akechi. Because like just disregarding his like cheery, innocent detective side.
Yeah, that's fair.
The fact that he embraces his craziness and is even like, what the fuck my life, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, true. I also want to bring up the second ending that you can get if you choose to not fight.
That's another interesting thing. It's like you look at like the artwork that they show at the very end of like that kind of bad ending, like credits.
I don't think it's a bad ending because I kind of actually like how it turns out.
Like, that's the thing. It's like it's not presented as a totally bad ending. Like, oh man, the world's in ruins. It's still under control by Yaldabaoth. It's like, no, everyone's happy.
Yeah, everyone's happy though.
At the same time, it's like there's kind of that easy feeling like, did I make the right choice?
Yeah.
Especially like before the credits roll, there's that little cutscene where it's like you see Maruki just dressed up as like some cab driver, I guess.
He takes the picture for the main
which
cast.
Which is definitely fitting, but he's basically just like, hey man, you might want to take a photo with them. I'll take it. I'll take the photo for you.
Yeah.
It was at that moment where I realized like, oh man, this isn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't actually hate like how it turned out though.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I feel like that was kind of the reason. It was still like, yeah, this is like the perfect ending, but is it really?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to think about it. I love like how like at first it's like the whole Gurren Lagann fight where it's like in reverse, where it's like now you're having to face a giant persona.
Yeah, it is.
Then it's like after you break that persona, it's just you and Maruki on one of the magic ladder steps.
It kind of reminds me of the
because the metaverse is crashing apart.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the final fight in Insomniac Spider-Man.
Oh,
where you're fighting Doc Ock on the tower.
Like, can I just say the English voice actor for Maruki, Billy Connors.
Yes, he does amazing.
Fantastic job, especially in the moment I was just describing where he was like on the stairs. Jesus Christ, you could hear the emotion. I was
absolutely amazing.
I hope the best for him because I hear he got diagnosed with like a really bad illness.
Oh, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best for him.
Yeah, I hope he pulls through with that, or has already pulled through.
Billy Comments, if you're somehow watching this, we love your work and we hope the best for you. I feel like the English cast in general did a fantastic job here.
I really like the English cast of Persona 5.
They usually do.
Like
but,
they're some top tier voice actors.
Oh, definitely. Max Middleman is Ryuji.
I love him. So okay, being real, I hope he takes over as Sonic in the future because that is just the perfect voice.
He sounds great. Let's see. Erica Harlacher is on.
Yeah.
Amazing job.
Amazing.
Matthew Mercer.
How can we not talk about Matt Mercer? If it's a Japanese game that has teenagers, Matt Mercer has to show up. It's law.
For some reason, he's just contractually obligated to. Xander Mobus has a lot of range.
Xander Mobus has like the most range out of any voice actor I've ever seen.
He's also Kubo in Neo Twiwi.
And he's the announcer.
Because I hear the two voices, and I cannot tell them, and I cannot tell like it's from the same person.
Exactly. Like
it's not like Johnny Young Bosch who voiced both Narukami and Adachi. So when they're talking in a scene like from Arena, you can definitely tell like, oh, this is the same guy.
Yeah, but like Xander Mobus does not make any of his characters sound alike. I would not have known he was Kubo in Neo Twiwi if the trailer didn't tell me.
And it's the same thing for like Robbie Damon as Akechi. He Oh my god, it's perfect.
And as well as Xander Mobus, he also doesn't make his voices sound alike, because he's also Prompto in Final Fantasy 15.
He's also, what, Spider-Man?
No.
I'm not one of those cartoons.
Oh, maybe from one of the cartoons. I don't exactly know.
Oh, right, you don't watch the cartoons. But yeah, he was, I think it was like the latest cartoon. The one that still gets a lot of flack. Yeah, he was Spider-Man in that. And I feel like he did like a pretty decent job from the clips I've seen. I feel like the show didn't give him much to work with, but hey, you know, he got to meet Stan Lee, which is something neither of us got to, so, you know, he has
And we'll never get to, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I like how this changed from spoiler section to just talking about voice actors, but, hey!
As someone who wants to be...
stellar job, really.
As someone who wants to be a voice actor, it's going to happen when you bring me on.
Right, of course. Yeah, and then Persona 5 Strikers comes around, and I will say, the voice actor for Zenkichi, because we're talking about voice actors now, did a fantastic job, definitely.
Absolutely.
Zenkichi has the best awakening I've seen out of all the Persona 5 ones.
Definitely, I had no idea it was coming.
And the spectacular part is, Tom Taylorson, the voice actor for Zenkichi, he's pretty new in the voice acting scene, or at least doesn't have many roles under his belt, so...
Yeah, so the fact that he did like such a great job.
It's kind of the same thing where it's like, to bring up Neo Tweeby again, Rendo's voice actor, Paul Castro Jr., does not have... Rendo was like his first big role.
Also, if you're also if you are watching, we'd love to have you on the podcast sometime. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, definitely, Paul. If you somehow see this, back to Persona 5.
Yeah.
Zenkichi was definitely great. I like his connection with Akane, even though it definitely felt like Nanako and Dojima, except like
not as fleshed out.
Definitely not. I feel like kind of hurt its case was basically just the fact that Akane just wasn't in the game.
Yeah, she's there for like 20 minutes, and then when her arc happens.
It's still cute when Akane was just like, I'm a big fan of Thieves, and you just see her room is covered.
And then you go into her room, and she's like the biggest fan ever.
Right, and then she does live streaming.
yeah, she live streams like stop motion animations of figures she made of them.
I thought there would be like an age limit for like streaming on Twitch, isn't there?
Yeah, it's 13.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I guess she is in her last middle school year, so maybe. Or maybe she's just working under her dad's... Maybe she used her dad's email to make an account, who knows?
That's fair, she probably did. She's smart enough to do that.
Okay, I will say, in terms of villains, this is definitely an improvement over the original Persona 5 as well.
Absolutely, because all their villains are fleshed out.
You're kind of forced to see, like, how they became as awful as they did.
Yeah,
it's also, like, what they're doing isn't really that awful, except for like a few exceptions.
Yeah, like here's the thing, like
again,
they're not.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, like apart from Akira, is like none of them are all that evil.
Right. Because the thing is, like Alice, you know, she got bullied a lot, so she wants to prove herself. Like, yeah, I'm pretty, I'm popular.
Exactly.
You know, it's understandable when I've gotten bullied before.
Yeah.
I've definitely had those kind of insecurities.
And then I forget the second guy's name.
The author, I think it was like Natsuno or something.
Yeah, but no one believed in him and gave him the chance to grow as an author, so...
He just plagiarized a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so he plagiarized it so that people would actually read his stuff.
And I hated him at first because, I'm a self-published author. I hated that he, took other people's works.
Absolutely.
I couldn't help it, but, he kind of turned around in that little speech from Yusuke at the end, telling him, like, hey, man, don't give up. Come on, just take a break for now and then just come back with your own 100% original work. And that was sweet.
Yeah, it is. Because I think he actually does plan on writing the speech did move him, and he does plan on writing his own book, like, after the events of the game.
Right, yeah. But then, the mayor...
Yeah, Haru's aunt, I think, or at least family friend.
I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm not remembering about it. She didn't really want to do anything evil. She just wanted to make sure, everything was completely safe.
No, she covered up an accident that resulted in a death.
That's right. Yeah. That was it. But like again, it's understandable how it's like because of like
Yeah, because
scandals and everything.
it was technically her fault, and she didn't mean obviously to kill someone. No one needs to kill anyone. I feel like, unless like it's planned murder.
Well, obviously, but the whole Akane thing was like her dad and everything.
Yeah, she doesn't get enough time with her dad and wants to spend more time with him.
Where it's like one weird like jail. That's what they're called, the strikers. That one where jail was like the guy who was like the jail master had already passed away. So you just fight the gatekeeper and then you're done.
Yeah.
It was there to set up like Sophia's whole twist with Ichinose.
Yeah.
I saw coming a mile away.
Yeah, no, I figured it out after a bit as well. I'm just like, yeah.
And then, the whole thing with Akira, who, again, kind of runs into a similar problem with Shido, where it's like, there isn't really much to him. Not as bad as Shido, because, you see his flashback. You understand why he wants to be, like, this big, all-time hero for the world.
Yeah, why he wants to literally be a superhero.
Same time, it's just like, I don't know, I just didn't really care about him as much as I did with, like, the mayor or Alec. Like, early on, the people early on, I definitely didn't care as much about.
Because they relate to a character, I feel like. Akira doesn't have anyone that, like, you can relate to. Like,
people tried to, like, stretch it to saying, like, Ryuji or something, but I feel like the comparison ends with, like, oh, they both had bad dads. Like, okay. Yeah. So have you played Ace Attorney? Everyone there has an awful father.
It's true.
Or in Edgewood's case, he had a good father that just happened to die.
and then got adopted by a bad father.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Like Alice related to On. And then
Yusuke and the author.
Yeah, Yusuke and the author, and then Haru and the mayor. They all had some.
Kichi and his daughter, obviously.
Yeah,
but you can also make a case for Makoto because of the whole police-daughter dynamic.
Yeah, exactly, and Makoto also tied into that. But like, yeah, it's when then Akira had nobody to tie in with, so
the rest of the cast, yeah.
Yeah, also, like I was waiting for Ryuji's my favorite Persona 5 character, so I was waiting for someone to relate to him, and that didn't really happen.
Yeah, so they tried to stretch it with. People have tried to stretch it with Akira, but I don't really see it.
It doesn't really work.
The whole Ichinose twist. Did you see that coming? I did a mile away.
I had like suspicions, but I didn't see it coming actually.
Like, okay, here's the thing. I feel like the idea was there. I understand what she was going on about. She made Sophia and
yeah, she doesn't know how to.
Yeah,
she doesn't know how to feel emotions, so she made Sophia to teach her. But Sophia couldn't learn because Ichinose couldn't teach her what she doesn't know about.
Right, obviously. So
it's an AI. It learns from you.
In the recycle bin, and then just being like, okay, what can I? What was the series of this game called again? I cannot remember.
Emma.
That was Emma. Yeah. So then she made Emma to basically just be Siri, but also manipulate people, which is, might be what Apple's doing too. So we better watch out.
We're on to you, Steve Jobs.
We're on to you. All right, I got an iPhone. Don't do anything.
I don't. So I'm safe for now.
You're safe from him. All right, SL. If anything ever happens to me, take down Steve Jobs.
I will. I promise you.
Someone's gonna clip that. Someone's gonna clip me saying that. Oh God. But anyway, okay. So yeah, the whole thing with Ichinose, it's like, I feel like the whole thing was like, I feel maybe it's implied, but it's like kind of like she's on the autism spectrum. Maybe it's only implied.
I can see it.
Like she can't really handle or comprehend emotions.
I won't dwell into it too much, but I have a brother and sister who have autism, so like I can see the similarities between Ichinose and either of them.
Then the game kind of hits its worst point at the very end with the final boss because it's just Yaldabaoth again, but instead it's a phone.
Oh yeah, it is. It is just Yaldabaoth again, isn't it?
But hey, I mean, outside of that, like the game, Strikers is actually a really good game and a pretty great sequel for Persona 5.
I completely agree. I really like the gameplay.
5 Arena to come out and just basically act like both it and Royal happened.
Yeah. Like I really like.
Because, there's not even Strikers that implies like the stuff in Royal never happened. It's just like the fancies never acknowledge it.
Yeah, no, it just didn't happen.
Which is weird because Sumire is still part of the team, technically.
Technically, it's Sophia though. Like it's.
Oh well, yeah. I mean. Anyway.
Yeah. I can see like what's it if like a Persona 5 arena does happen, it can be like carry on from Royal and then like have like Sophia Senkichi like as DLC or something.
Imagine they render somebody just like, we need backup, and then Ichinose just shows up with her smartphone that just has Sophia on it.
That would be cool though.
That would be amazing. Then Marky just shows up as like her taxi driver or something. That would be neat. I'm just saying. Atlas, I'm giving you ideas here. You don't even
have to credit us.
Hey, but if you do, that'd be great. Okay.
Cash
I
only.
feel like that's enough from spoilers for us.
Yeah.
Let's end things off by just going over like maybe our hopes for Persona 6. Do you have any?
Okay. Do you want to go first to give me time to think of something?
Yeah, for sure. One thing I would like is maybe change things up and make a female lead, like the primary lead female. Instead of, like obviously like Persona 3 Portable did like the choice.
Yeah.
That was because they already had Persona 3, the base game, to work on.
Yeah, where you had to play as a male.
Yeah, like, I'm not expecting them to make that choice like it's a Pokemon game, because the story's pretty detailed. And if they tried to do try to make the differences they made with Persona 3 Portable, like new social links for the girl character, or like all those changes, but with a brand new game on the offset, I feel like this game would just take so long to come out. Persona 6. I feel like I'm fine with it being like the gender is set in stone, but just make it a girl for once. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Anything else you hope for Persona 6?
I'm just hoping the UI from Persona 5 is carried over and maybe even improved. I'm also hoping that the color is green. That's really it.
Is it just because you like green?
Yes.
Okay. I actually have a few things I can go off of for a while. I don't mind if we I think a choice should be the thing. Like I wouldn't mind if we had to play as a girl.
Maybe this is a bit out of my. I don't really understand why Alice hasn't done this much.
Yeah.
But maybe include like LGBT.
Thank you. That was exactly my next point. Let us be fucking gay or lesbian. Like, god damn it.
Please, God, please let me date. If I pick the female character, let me date one of the women still, please.
And if I pick the male, let me date a guy. Like,
let me date the emperor of that game.
but like, it's annoying after a while.
Right.
Like, I could go on a whole rant here, but I think I'll just save that for a video of its own.
Implied with like Persona 2. You don't know this, but they did like
this
implied relationship between the main character and this other guy's name. I think his name is Jin.
No, I didn't know.
Okay, but
I did actually know this, but yeah.
It's not completely out of nowhere for Atlas and Persona, but
yeah. Okay, but yeah. Okay, another thing I was thinking. I don't mind if it stays like high school age, but what if we do a college age for something? Like, I think Nico B, the YouTuber, brought this up. Like, why don't we do a college age sometime?
It's the thing. I was like, there's also like people also want a Persona game happening in America or some other country other than Japan.
I think that'd be fine.
That would be cool. I mean, Alice has expressed interest in this, but they would need like a really big dev team.
Oh, definitely.
Like make sure everything's accurate.
They'd also need to go to America and actually see it for themselves, to actually properly recreate it, and that costs money.
They went to Egypt just for one level of Persona 5.
Yeah.
All right, they're not here in Hiko Araki. You don't even know who that is, but
But yeah.
Yeah, that's really it.
That's really it for.
All right. I guess we'll sign things off. Thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the SL and Shiro Podcast.
Thank you guys so much. We have our links in the description. Follow us on Twitter and YouTube.
Please.
We have stuff coming out soon, and we'll see you next time.
Next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.